Hello, my name is Isaiah Berner-Milner, and today I will be talking about Roman numerals, which are classified as an ancient numeral system. On this map, you can see that the city of Rome is right here in the country of Italy, and all this darkened brown area is controlled by Rome, and that the Roman army controlled much of Europe, the Middle East, and a fraction of Africa. They were a very prosperous nation, and they were known for their military force. On the slide, I wanted to share with you some Roman history. The Roman Empire lasted from 625 BC to about 476 AD. It was a very prosperous nation. They were well developed, and as you can see, they created democracy, and they created a large military force that many nations could not defeat. Romulus was the first king of Rome, which is named after him, and he became king after he had killed his twin brother Remus. On this slide, you can see a chart of Roman numerals, which are a combination of letters of I, V, X, L, C, and M. The first Roman numerals appeared between 900 and 800 BC. This chart shows a range from the number 1 to the number 100 through different combinations of I, V over here, and then it goes into X by 10, and then the L appears by 40, and then it continues until it reaches C by 90, and then C itself is 100. What base are the numbers in? The base for Roman numeral numbers is basically what you saw on the slide before of I, V, X, L, C, and M. These letters basically in different combinations make up the entire Roman numeral system. It based on placement of which letters are first and after other letters is where it determines what number the Roman numeral is. This system does not have a number for 0, and it also does not able to used with fractions. Alright, how do you translate Roman numerals? Before you start translating Roman numerals, there are rules to follow when reading Roman numerals. The first rule is letters are used in place from left to right, and so basically as you read normally, you follow from the left letter to the right letter. And then the order of the numerals determines whether to add or subtract the value. So here's an example of the number 4 and the number 6. With 4, it's 5 and 1. It shows that the 1 is less than the number 5, and that you do it reverse. And so you do the V minus 1, which is 5 minus 1, and it'll equal 4. And then the opposite is with the number 6, where it's 5 and then 1, and so then that means 5 plus 1. The third rule is one symbol cannot be used more than 3 times in a row. This is common in higher numbers, especially in the tens and hundreds, that you eventually have to stop repeating the same letter and go to the next level, because according to the rule, it would just be too many letters in a row, and so to help condense the system, you go from like using 3 x's, which is 30, to start using the L when you reach 50. And the fourth rule is when using subtraction, you only subtract by the powers of 10. And then the fifth rule is only one number can be subtracted from another number. The sixth rule is you can only subtract 1 from a number if it is 10 times greater or less. The seventh rule is larger numbers in the thousands have a bar over the letters to multiply it by 1,000. And then 8 is that fractions cannot be used with Roman numerals. How do you translate Roman numerals? So Roman numerals use the combinations of the 6 letters that we saw before, which are here on the side. So I, V, X, L, C, and M, in which you either add them together or subtract them from each other. You add the letters or numbers together when there is greater value before those of lesser value. And then you subtract when there are letters of lesser value before those of greater value. So here's some addition examples. This Roman numeral equals 7 because there's a 5 and then plus the 2, and together they equal 7, or the VII. Here's another example of 18 because X is 10 and V is 5, and then the 3 I's equals 3, and together they equal 18 when they're all added together. Alright, so here's some subtraction examples. The IX equals 9 because I equals 1 and X is 10. So following this, you can, so written as equation, it would be 1 minus 10, written from left to right, but it works instead in reverse, so that it's actually X minus 1, so that 10 minus 1 equals 9. And the same is for 4. And so I equals 1, 5 equals V. And as an equation, it would be 1 minus 5. But when you put it in reverse, it's actually 5 minus 1 to equal 4. So here's a continuation of translating Roman numerals. There are Roman numerals that use both addition and subtraction together in one numeral. An example of this is the number 14, which is XIV. And so X equals 10, I equals 1, and V equals 5. And so this number can be calculated backwards with subtraction and then addition. And so the equation would look like 5 minus 1 plus 10, which equals 14. And the same is for the number 19, which is XIX, which is X equals 10, I equals 1, and X equals 10 again. And this number can also be calculated backwards with subtraction and addition. The equation would be 10 minus 1 plus 10, which would equal 19. This system is similar to counting with your hands, with your fingers, which is an easy way of kind of remembering how this is connected. You can use 1 as 1 finger, 2 as 2 fingers, and etc. basically until you get to 5 with your whole hand. And then Roman numerals use a V because it's similar to the V that is formed between your thumb and your index finger. And then the number X, or 10, is seen as 2 V's reflecting one another, so basically 2 hands together with the form that your thumb and index finger make, so 2 5s together, which would equal 10. Alright, so here I have an example problem set up to kind of help understand Roman numerals a little bit better. So the problem is, Sir Felix has 50 soldiers ready for battle. Sir Magnus has an additional 25 to aid in battle against the enemy. The enemy force has 30 archers, 30 horsemen, 20 swordsmen, and 20 spearmen. So does Rome have the upper hand in this battle? So what you do is find the sum of the soldiers, which is 50 plus 25 to equal 75, and you would add the enemy soldiers together, and so that's 30 plus 30 plus 20 plus 20, which would equal 100. And so you can easily tell that 100 is greater than 75, and so you would minus 75 from 100 to get a total of 25, which is the difference between the two armies. So you can easily tell that Rome does not have the upper hand in this battle. It needs 25 more troops to match the enemy. On this slide, I just wanted to show some examples of how Roman numerals are still used today. An example is the Super Bowl. Each Super Bowl uses a Roman numeral to tell which one it is. Roman numerals can also be found on clocks, watches, and different kind of devices. And then another example is that Roman numerals are still used today in music. Alright, this is the conclusion of my presentation. I thank you for watching and hope you have a good day.